سلام تخطاتلتي ناي همبول ميديا نلوم معنتي زبلنا يستفلالي زيناتات نابهاتكم كنبرينا شير لايك سبسكرايب مقبراي ترسعو سناي مكتثال.
Potemkin Party (PP) senior officials seem to have contracted a severe case of historical amnesia. In a bizarre and rather amusing announcement to the House of Representatives this week, the PP's leader stated that he had scoured every archive in Addis Ababa, the Prime Minister's office, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, cabinet minutes, and parliamentary records, yet found no official record or institutional decision how Ethiopia lost access to the Red Sea. Hopefully, this debilitating disease is at its incipient or early phase. Indeed, only 7 years ago, on the 9th of July 2018, and accompanied by senior officials of his regime including the then Foreign Minister and now Secretary General of IGAD, he had signed in Asmara the joint declaration of peace and friendship between Eritrea and Ethiopia. The kernel and cardinal content of this agreement revolved on the implementation of the Eritrea-Ethiopia Boundary Commission (EEBC) decision, which affirmed Eritrea's internationally recognized boundary for more than a century in accordance with the treaties of 1900, 1902 and 1908. In another moment of truth in those times, Ethiopia's army chief of staff confessed that he and his colleagues were embarrassed in May 1998 when the incumbent government publicly accused Eritrea of aggression while it was the Ethiopian army which actually unleashed the war in the first place. Today, he seems to be infected by this collective amnesia as he tries to justify his incessant saber-rattling and agenda of war on spurious pretexts in contravention of international law and Eritrea's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Similarly, another PP general, Bacha Debele, confessed, 3 years ago, about the disastrous defeat that the Ethiopian army contingent had suffered. In his graphic words, Chafin, we were completely annihilated, on the Bua front when it attempted to occupy Assab in June 2000. Apparently infected by the same historical amnesia, this retired general has joined the chorus to clamor for another cycle of irredentist war of aggression against Eritrea in order to occupy Assab. The incipient, even if already severe, disease of collective amnesia that has gripped the tight circle of senior Potemkin Party officials will need proper therapy. History 101. Link below is the introductory chapter 1. The whole syllabus will of course consist of the denial of Eritrea's right to decolonization in the 1940s, annexation and the armed struggle, all the way back to medieval and ancient history with objective archaeological findings and interpretations. Warning: the disease may be incurable if it is a pure case of deliberate deception and/or reflexive pathological lying. A reminder to Ethiopia, which is on the brink of anarchy. As the Eritrean War of Independence concluded in 1991, Eritrean forces captured 114,000 out of 130,000 Ethiopian soldiers deployed in Eritrea. All were granted amnesty and repatriated to Ethiopia. Captured military assets in 1991 included 200 tanks, many 130mm artillery, 122mm artillery, BM-21 rocket launchers, BM-24 rocket launchers, Zu-23 anti-aircraft guns, thousands of mortars, and vast quantities of ammunition. Staged release of Ethiopian POWs by EPLF. In January 1990, 2,500, in 1985, 8,000, in December 1989, 10,000, in early 1991, 30,000, and post-independence, Eritrean Gov, 86,000, including 900 officers that included high-ranking generals and Soviet military advisors. Ethiopian casualties in Eritrea, only 1974-1991. 195,620 killed. 180,287 wounded. The economic costs of the war for Ethiopia was also staggering. For example, the Red Star campaign, December 27, 1981 to July 1, 1982, total expenditure was 1,291,745,233 birr, US $516,698,093, $871,435,465 birr on Soviet-supplied armaments, MiG-23s, Mi-17, Mi-24 helicopters, T-55 tanks, BM-21 rockets, etc. 420,309,768 birr on logistics. 516,698 is equivalent to 1,733,000,000 today. Red Star campaign casualties were 37,176, of which 1,074 officers, 22,247 other ranks and 9,858 militia. At the end of the war, a few Derg officials and many Derg soldiers escaped through Bale or Bolye. Full text of the agreement reached between Eritrea and Ethiopia, aka Jedha Accord. Agreement on peace, friendship and comprehensive cooperation between the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and the State of Eritrea. The Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and the State of Eritrea, hereinafter referred to as the two parties. Considering the close bonds of geography, history, culture and religion between the two countries and their peoples. Respecting each other's independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity. Desiring to achieve lasting peace and cement their historical ties to achieve their lofty objectives. Determined to establish comprehensive cooperation on the basis of complementarity and synergy. Determined further to contribute actively to regional and global peace and security. Reaffirming the joint declaration on peace and friendship that they signed on July 9, 2018 in Asmara. Reiterating their commitment to the principles and purposes of the Charter of the United Nations. The two parties agree as follows. Article 1. The state of war between the two countries has ended and a new era of peace, friendship and comprehensive cooperation has started. Article 2. The two countries will promote comprehensive cooperation in the political, security, defense, economic, trade, investment, cultural and social fields on the basis of complementarity and synergy. Article 3. The two countries will develop joint investment projects, including the establishment of joint special economic zones. Article 4. The two countries will implement the Eritrea-Ethiopia Boundary Commission decision. Article 5. The two countries will promote regional and global peace, security and cooperation. Article 6. The two countries will combat terrorism as well as trafficking in people, arms and drugs in accordance with international covenants and conventions. Article 7. The two countries will establish a high-level joint committee, as well as subcommittees as required, to guide and oversee the implementation of this agreement. This agreement is made at Jeddah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia on this day of September 16, 2018 in two original copies in Amharic, Tigrinya, Arabic and English languages. In case of discrepancy in interpretation, the English version shall prevail.
Atna aynihibin naindam matnaha ayndel. Bijaran fakharan tasanabidna tambarkikhna tasa'irna aynfallitinna. ዝፈከሩን ዝተጃሃሩን ስለዝረአናን ስለዝረብረብናሉን ካብ ቋንቋ ምህዳድን ሓይልን ወፂና ብዓቕልን ልዝብን ከይተሓለልና ንሰርሕ ኢና حقن فتحن من ربحات حزبتات إرترا إثيوبيان كم زعوتان زبالتان ذات أمامن سلام كسفن كم تخونها أي تراتر
ሼር ላይክ ሳብስክራይብ ምግባር ኣይትረስዑ ታንክ ዩ